The following program is being brought to you on the Voice America Empowerment Channel. For more information about our network and to check out additional show hosts and topics of interest, please visit voiceamericaempowerment.com. The Voice America Talk Radio Network is the worldwide leader in live Internet talk radio. Visit voiceamerica.com. The views and ideas expressed on the following program are strictly those of the host or guests and do not necessarily reflect the views and ideas held by the Voice America Talk Radio Network, its staff, and management.
Welcome to Dr. MaryOz's Radical Change Now radio program. Today you will learn how to combine healing and the law of attraction to better your own life in mere weeks. Join us on our journey, which starts right now. Here's your host, Dr. MaryOz.
Well, hello, everyone. Welcome to our show today. And we have a very special guest. We are having Dr. Joe Vitale join us today. And I'm sure many of you listeners know Dr. Joe Vitale. He's the author of way too many books to mention. He has lots of inspiring books that have changed lots of people's lives. And I'm one of those people that his books have touched. In fact, my all-time favorite of his books is a book called Hypnotic Marketing. And this is a book I choose to read at least 2 or 3 times a year, just to help improve my skills. But he also came out with 2 books that became even bigger favorites of mine. And his 2 books are At Zero, The Secret Hawaiian System to Health, Wealth, Peace, and More, as well as his book, At Zero. So welcome to the show, Joe.
Congratulations on your show, and I'm flattered I get to be one of your guests. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. It's so good to have you here today. I'm surprised we got to pull you away from your writing for an entire hour.
Well, I have to take a break every now and then, you know.
This is true. So you might as well come and join us and inspire us. So let me ask you a question. How many books have you actually written? Do you keep track?
I don't keep track, but my readers apparently do, because somebody wrote me a few months ago and said, Joe, do you realize you've written 76 books?
Wow.
And that's what I said. No, not 76 books. I know I wrote a lot of books, but I don't think 76. And they counted them, and they said, yes, 76. The interesting thing is, that was a few months ago, so now it's like 81 books I've written.
So you write them fast and furious. You're fast and furious
I get
with your writing.
I don't have any blocks or counter-intentions when it comes to expressing myself in books, and I just get it done. I'm working on 5 different books right now.
Wow, 5 different books at one time.
Yeah, it's just, you don't write them all at the very same moment, but you focus on one book, you write it for a while. When you need to take a break from that, I can move to another topic. Wow, I just keep shuffling around, and some might get more attention than another, but in time they all get done, and then one day you look out the window and you've got 76 or 84 books.
Very cool.
Just keep on doing it, and it happens.
Well, that's what happens when you have a passion, right? You put your time into it, and things just happen and flow.
And that's exactly right, because some people might look and say, my God, 76 books? I can't write 76 books. That would be hell. That would be torture. That would be such a workaholic, bloody, sweaty, just awful experience. But only if it wasn't their passion. If it was their passion, they wouldn't think anything negative of it. Writing books, expressing myself that way, writing anything, writing my blogs, my emails, notes, all of this. I love it. So it might take work, and some people might say it takes some sort of time drain focus, but it's my passion, so it's never negative. It never feels like a drain. And that's true for anybody who follows any passion. It's a joy to do it.
Absolutely. Well, I wanted to take this opportunity to publicly thank you for writing Zero Limits and At Zero. I read them when the first book came out in around 2012. I got a chance to read them. And it was really a happy time in my life. Things were good. But the blessings, the miracles, and the inspiration that I've received from reading the books on Oponopono and committing to Oponopono daily, it blows me away. In fact, you suggested in the book that would happen. And it really did happen. So last week when we launched the show here, I talked about the story a little bit about Dr. Hew Len, him being an unusual therapist. and how he healed an entire ward of criminally insane patients. But I didn't go as deep as you go in your book because you had a chance to meet with Dr. Hew Len and spend some time with him. So I was wondering if you could share with us today, what was the first Ho'oponopono experience that you had where you realized, wow, this is really powerful and I got to get this message out there?
Well, I would back all the way up to the beginning when I first heard the story that you probably told your listeners last week. I had heard the story of an unusual therapist who helped heal a ward of mentally ill criminals in a hospital in Hawaii. But what was weird is that they said he helped heal the ward without actually doing anything face-to-face with them, without actually working with them in any traditional way. He was doing some esoteric technique. And I was perplexed by it and even confused and even disbelieving it. It took me an entire year, 12 months later, before I heard the story again, and then I thought, well, if this story is true, somebody needs to tell it. So then I went on the quest to find out who was the therapist and where was the hospital and how did he do this and what was his technique. At that point in time, which was probably around 2005 or 2006, there was next to nothing on Ho'oponopono on the Internet. You can Google it all day and all night, and there was almost nothing. And it took a lot of work. I even hired a private detective to find the therapist, to uncover what his name was.
Wow.
And I finally did. And he was in California at the time, and I called him up. I got a number for the guy, and I called him up. And Dr. Hew Len, who was the therapist, Dr. Hew Len spent 45 minutes on the phone with me. He didn't know me at all. There was no reason for him to give me a moment of his time, but he gave me 45 minutes, answered all of my questions, and said he was doing a seminar in California in 2 weeks, and he invited me to it. So I said, well, geez, yes, I'm going, and I went with a friend, and that's where I met Dr. Hew Len. And there were only 20 or 30 people in the room, because at that point, Ho'oponopono didn't have a big draw. Most people didn't know what it was, especially off of Hawaii. They didn't know what it was. Today, of course, there's a giant movement behind it, and Dr. Hew Len is the elevated status of a guru celebrity. But that all came from my books. And it was that seminar, that very first one, when I tasted the power of Ho'oponopono. I still found it confusing. I still found it mystical and more than a little strange. But I liked Dr. Hew Len. He had a very warm, loving, grandfatherly-like shaman presence to him. And I started practicing it right then and there. And I know that night in my hotel room, I developed an infection. And I said, well, let me use this weird Ho'oponopono thing on the infection. And I started saying the basic 4 phrases, which is what's out there in a big way. The basic 4 phrases, as you know, is I love you, I'm sorry, please forgive me, thank you. I love you, I'm sorry, please forgive me, thank you. Very simple. I just started saying it inside myself, and I was thinking of the infection and wanting it to go away. And went to sleep saying those in my mind and woke up, and it was gone. The infection was gone. And so that was my very first taste, and I thought, wow, if it can do something like this, that might be, a very subjective test, and there's no real objectivity to it, because I'm the one that's feeling it, and I'm the one that's doing something about it, but I'm also the one who healed it and released it. I knew that this story, that little story of my healing and the bigger story of the Hawaii hospital, that needed to be out there in a big way. And, of course, over time, I ended up writing that first book with Dr. Hew Len, the one called Zero Limits.
Excellent. Amazing. So having spent some time with Dr. Hew Len, right, because you did seminars with him, you would spend some time with him and discuss the book with him, what would you say is unique or different? Is there anything unique or different about Dr. Hew Len?
Well, I want to laugh out loud because, yes, he's very unique and very different. I would say he's a contrarian. I would say he's a contrarian. He is not going to say anything to flatter you. He is not going to say anything that might be considered social friendliness and small talk. Mm-hmm. He always, in my opinion, goes for a deep dive in conversation. He will always ask very interesting questions. Like one time I remember I was in a car with him, and I forget where I was taking him, but we had coffee and we were going someplace, and he just looked over at me and he says, why is it that an asshole can have a lot of money? And
just out of nowhere.
It's opening a can of worms, but at the same time, there was deep sincerity to him. He wasn't calling anybody a name, and he wasn't referring to anybody in particular, but it was like an open-ended question to engage on a deep level. And I remember saying to him, I said, well, money doesn't care about who it goes to. Money cares about people that are going to welcome it and use it. So it doesn't matter if the person wanting money is an asshole or an angel. Money doesn't have beliefs about you. You have beliefs about money. But my insights were coming from his engaging, unusual, even surprising questions. So those are the kind of things that I think just make him really unusual. You know, when he was sitting we did 3 Zero Limit seminars together, and we all ate in the same room. But when he was eating, he wanted to be alone with his food. And if somebody tried to talk to him while he was eating, he'd pretty sharply say, I'm eating, meaning, leave me alone.
Right, exactly.
So I see him as a contrarian. He's a lovable grandfather, but pretty unique and unusual and walking to his own drummer.
So what a gift to have been able to spend some time with him, right?
Oh, absolutely. It's a great joy in my life. I've learned so much. We did those seminars together. He's come to my house. He stayed in my city, in my small community, which you've been to in the Texas Hill Country. Took him out to eat, had unusual experiences with that. Many great conversations, and I'm very proud of my book. Zero Limits in particular tells the story from the beginning of my hearing about him to my quest to find him, my quest to do seminars with him. All of that is in the book Zero Limits, which is still my favorite book to reread. I got a lot of books out there, and I don't reread them, but Zero Limits I'll reread.
Now, it's my understanding that Dr. Hew Len learned about the healing power of Oponopono from a Hawaiian healer called Morna Simeona.
Yes.
I think that's how you pronounce her name.
Morna, yes.
Morna, yeah. So share with us what you know about Morna, because I'm sure Dr. Hew Len shared with you about Morna as well.
He did. He talked a lot about Morna because he absolutely loved her. And he did not at first. He went to a seminar where he heard this. He said some crazy woman was going to teach people how to heal, and that Dr. Hew Len had a daughter who had a skin disease on her, and nobody was getting rid of it. And he went to Morna to help see what she can do. And within a couple of days, that skin rash or disease, whatever it was gone. So he wanted to know, what is Morna doing? What does Morna know that he doesn't know? And he signed up for a weekend workshop with her, went into it, and heard her talking to flowers and herbs and talking to angels and this, that, and he left. He thought it was crazy, and he thought she was crazy. He gave her another chance, another weekend, and he went back for another seminar, heard her talking about the same kind of thing, talking to the chairs, talking to the floor, to the land, to the trees. He thought she was crazy, and he left again. He went back a third time, but this time he stayed for the entire seminar. His life was changed, and he followed her and taught with her until she died.
Wow.
He stayed till the end. Regarding Morna as a kind of enlightened being, and Hawaii has a statue of her and honored her as this supreme spiritual teacher from Hawaii. I have met other people who knew Morna. I never met Morna. Of course, she was gone long before I even heard about Ho'oponopono. But I have met other people who have met Morna and been with her. And they all talk about her being just as eccentric and unusual as Dr. Hew Len. But there was an ability for her to treat everything as alive, meaning the trees are alive, the animals are alive, the leaves are alive, the walls are alive, the furniture is alive, the chair you're on is alive. There is a deep respect for all elements of life, and not just the breathing elements of life, but the life that most of us would regard as inanimate, as just sitting there with no sort of consciousness. But Morna taught, and Dr. Hew Len learned from her and taught, that everything is alive. So there's things like that that are just mind-bending for the rest of us, because we weren't brought up that way. We're just use things, abuse things, throw things away, and go on to the next thing. But they're looking at it like, no, this is alive too. We have to respect it and love it.
There's two things I heard about Mourner. I'm not sure if they're in your book or I had done a little research on her at one point. But one is, I know that she had a deep desire to bring self-identity Ho'oponopono to the States. And I believe she did some seminars at the UN. When I had researched her, I came across that. And also, I think I read in your books the story about, didn't she live in a cottage where she had a garden, but she worked on some property where, like, the owner had some big property, and her gardens always looked better than the owner of the property because the cottage that she lived in was affected by her Ho'oponoponoing.
And both of those are true. She did present to the UN. She did have her own garden in the cottage. And in fact, there was a hospital administrator, somebody who ran a hospital, completely different from Dr. Hew Len's, but a regular hospital where the ill go to. And they asked her to come and do cleaning in the hospital. And when they first asked her to do it, she thought they meant she wanted her to go in with a mop and actually clean the walls and the toilets. And they said, no, we want you to do what you're doing with your garden and what you're doing with other people. We want you to come into the hospital and practice whatever mystical woo-woo mojo juice you've got going for you. And, of course, she also did that as well.
Wow. So, Joe, we have about 3 minutes before we take a break. And I'm really excited to ask you this next question. What would you say is Dr. Joe Vitale's main message to the world about Ho'oponopono?
Well, I would say Ho'oponopono is the greatest gift for cleaning, clearing, deleting those stubborn, negative, limiting beliefs that you may not even be able to identify that are in your unconscious mind or subconscious mind. That the beauty of Ho'oponopono is that with 4 simple phrases and a couple minutes of your time, you can say them internally while feeling whatever it is that's bothering you, and you can begin the process of diluting and deleting that very problem. You don't have to go to a therapist. You don't have to pay anybody. There isn't anything else to buy. It's all within you. And that's really a message of Ho'oponopono. It's all within you. That's even worth repeating. In Ho'oponopono, there is nothing on the outside. It's all within you. Everything that you're experiencing is within you, whether you say it's another person or it's a problem or it's an employer, it's a neighbor, it's a spouse. It's your perceptions of what you think you're seeing that become the issue. And Ho'oponopono is this priceless gift that helps clean your perceptions.
It's all about the inside, right? We never clean on others. We only clean on our feelings, perceptions, and our own data and past. Correct?
The others are just triggers.
Yeah.
But they're in many ways, they're illusions. They're not even real. You manifested them. You attracted them. You put them there so that you can have the trigger in you come up in your awareness. Then when it came up in your awareness, you can use something like Ho'oponopono to remove the trigger.
Awesome. Well, Joe, we're about to take our first break, but I would like our listeners, don't go anywhere. Make sure you come back and join Dr. Joe Vitale and myself here on the Radical Change Now show. We're about to dive deeper, and I'm going to ask Joe some powerful questions, and so you can walk away with some concepts about what do we mean by clearing, cleaning, and erasing. I'm going to talk a little bit about memory and inspiration, and we're also going to talk about miracles. So be sure to come back after our quick commercial.
Become our friend on Facebook. Post your thoughts about our shows and network on our timeline. Visit Facebook.com/Voice America.
Dr. MaryOz's Radical Change Coaching Program will help you set a healing foundation in your life and teach you how to manifest more of what you want. Are you ready to get the results and radical change you have been longing for too long? Very often our clients tell us that this is the most powerful coaching they have ever received. Come join us and start living life with more results, more love, more wealth, health, and peace, as well as inspiration. For more information, call Coach Sam at 1-833-447-CHANGE. Need help deciding if our Radical Change coaching program is right for you? Apply for a free strategy session with one of our coaches. Be prepared to dive deep and identify the areas in life in which you need healing and transformation. Together, we will clarify how to close the gap from where you are to where you want to be and discover what's possible now. How would it feel to get big changes in less than 30 days for you, your loved ones, and your business? Apply now by calling Coach Sam at 1-833-447-CHANGE or visit us at radicalchangenow.com.
If you think you've seen online TV before, let us surprise you.
VoiceAmerica.tv is online now.
The leader in live Internet talk radio has done it again. Multiple channels, a state-of-the-art viewing experience, live and on-demand programs streaming 24 hours a day. It's exactly what you want, when you want it.
VoiceAmerica.tv.
From health and wellness to business, sports, and everything in between. Discover our new world. Visit VoiceAmerica.tv now and experience the future of online television.
VoiceAmerica.tv.
We're making it easier to listen to the Voice America Talk Radio Network live wherever you go on iPhone, BlackBerry, or Android. Download it from the Apple iTunes App Store, BlackBerry App World, or Android Market.
You are listening to Radical Change Now with Dr. MaryOz. If you'd like to participate in our discussion today, the phone lines are open. Reach us at 1-888-346-9141. That's 1-888-346-9141. Let's get back to Radical Change Now. Here again is Dr. MaryOz.
Well, welcome back, everyone. We're here with the one and only Dr. Joe Vitale. And if it's okay with you, Dr. Joe, I'd like to just really dive deep into a couple of concepts that come from your books, Zero Limits and Not Zero.
Let's do it.
All right. So, last week I got a chance. I was listening to one of your Law of Attraction CD libraries, the really thick one. And I know you have a CD in there on Oponopono healing. And I was listening to it, and I was just blown away by how you explained total responsibility. So can you talk to us about what is that really deep concept that you talk about that Ho'oponopono teaches us to take total responsibility for our lives and everything in our lives?
Yeah, that's a great point, and it's worth bringing up because it's really mind-blowing. Most people have heard the idea of taking responsibility for their lives. Most people that are in personal growth or self-development. The people who aren't don't know anything about taking personal responsibility because they're still blaming the rest of the world for the things that they have challenges for. But the people who start to awaken and they start to watch the movie The Secret or learn about the law of attraction, they hear that you're responsible for your own life. Well, when I first met Dr. Hew Len, he said, have you heard the phrase that you create your own reality? And I said, yeah, I'm one of the people who write it on billboards, and I write books about it. You create your own reality. Yeah, man, that's what we do. And he said, well, if you create your own reality and a mentally ill criminal shows up in it, didn't you create that too? And that pulled my brains out of my skull and threw them down the street because he was taking the idea of personal responsibility to a quantum level that nobody beforehand in my life experience had ever explained. They had always explained that personal responsibility meant you were responsible for what you say, think, and do, you personally. But in Ho'oponopono, they extend it to include the universe, the world at large. So if your neighbor or your spouse or your children or employees or anybody is making you unhappy in any way, shape, or form, Ho'oponopono would say they don't even exist. They're a projection from inside of you, and they've been projected because some part of you, some belief-oriented mindset, a form of data is a common word in Ho'oponopono that's referring to beliefs and limitations and paradigm thinking and your mindset and your thoughts, all of that kind of stuff. Well, it's your data that is coming up to be cleaned, to be cleared, to be deleted out of your system. And so if there is somebody, and I'm just going to make up something, like somebody pulls out in front of you in traffic, and you're upset because you had to hit the brakes and you almost went through the window and your groceries are now on the floor and people are honking at you and this, that, and the other. Well, the first tendency for most people is to be mad at the person who pulled out in front of them. But in Ho'oponopono, they would realize that feeling of being mad isn't anywhere but in you. And it's that feeling that needs cleared. And what you're clearing is the perception that something bad happened. So you're taking responsibility for all of it. You're taking responsibility for the driver. You're taking responsibility for your reaction to this event. You're taking responsibility for how you handle it, whether you start laying on the horn and calling 911 or screaming yourself or just fuming inside and driving your blood pressure up. You take responsibility for all of that and also realize you have an alternative. You can take a deep breath and you can go, oh, this was for me to find out I still had a button in me. As you feel the button, the trigger inside of you, you start going through the phrases. I love you, I'm sorry, please forgive me, thank you. You're not saying them to that driver. You're not saying them to yourself. You're saying them within yourself to your connection to the divine. Some people would call the divine God or the universe or the great something or the whiteboard or even zero. There's so many different names for this higher power that we're part of and are of at the same time. So Ho'oponopono was really coming down to saying personal responsibility means you're responsible for it all, everything. No loopholes, no get out of jail card, no way out. And that's an issue a lot of people have problems with when they first hear about Ho'oponopono. But they have to go deeper because then they can realize that's where the freedom comes.
Right. And that's really where the clearing and the cleaning and erasing comes in, right?
Absolutely, because what we're cleaning and erasing is our perceptions. Ho'oponopono is a way to clear our perceptions so we can see the rightness of the world that already exists, what I would call the miracle that already exists. I actually think we're living the miracle now. We just don't know it because we want something else.
Wow, I love that. It's a beautiful image.
Right now,
I'm listening to you, Joe, and I'm thinking it's the kind of message that people need to hear again and again to really absorb, right?
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
Because it's new. It's so new that when people first hear it, they don't even allow it into their consciousness. It goes against what we've been raised. But then we have to look at how were we raised. I've often told people, I said, look, if you got money problems or relationship problems or health problems or any sort of beliefs or issues that are circulating in your life, you probably downloaded them from your parents to begin with because our parents weren't enlightened. Our parents had their own programming. And their programming was downloaded to us when we were so young we couldn't be thinking anything about choice or possibility.
Right.
But now, when you get to hear a call like this or a show like this, and it's really a shake and maybe a shock, but it's also this exciting tremor of awakening. Because now we realize, wait a minute, I can shake off all those old beliefs. I can shake off all those old limitations. I can shake off all those old perceptions of scarcity. So this is new to people, and they do need to hear it over and over and over again. I mean, I still read books. I still listen to audios. I still listen to shows. I still work on myself. I'm not enlightened. I'm not perfect, and I'm not dead, and I'm not done growing. So we all have work to do. Dr. Hew Len has often said that you will never stop. There's just so much data to clean that you might as well just keep on doing it.
Yeah, very cool. So now I also know back in March you had a little gathering and you had a Ho'oponopono advanced retreat in Texas, and you trained some of your students to become Ho'oponopono mentors, and I think you're in the midst of launching a program about that. And you could also talk about memory versus inspiration, and to me that's such an inspirational program. The more we Ho'oponopono, we let go of memories that are keeping those limiting beliefs alive and holding us back, and inspiration has a way of finding its way to us. Would you like to talk about those two things and your advanced Ho'oponopono mentoring program?
Well, you can probably leave and let me talk for the rest of the show because
that's okay.
There's so much there, and don't leave. I'm kidding. Don't leave. Stay right there. Well, let's look at memory versus inspiration because this is a huge concept. Virtually everybody in every moment is coming from memory. And what that means is that they are responding to life based on the programming they already have. So when anything shows up in their life, including this show and the material on this show that we're sharing, they are going to filter it through existing beliefs. And as they filter it through their existing beliefs, they are coming from the memory of those old beliefs. So it's difficult to allow inspiration to come in any moment because the data, the beliefs, the paradigm that already is there is filtering out, if not actually blocking, the inspiration. Right. So what Ho'oponopono is designed to do is for us to remove our memories. Now, when I say remove memories, I don't mean the literal memories of growing up or your love for your pets or your parents or your kids. Not those memories. I'm talking about releasing the memories that are belief systems. For example, you and I were just talking about the power of total responsibility, which is like extreme ownership for everything in our lives. Well, when people first hear that, they're going to feel a little shock because that's a shock to our system. But what is being shocked? It's the memory that says, I'm not responsible for what my neighbor does. I'm not responsible for what my spouse does. I'm not responsible for what the president does. Those are memories. And those memories block the inspiration from arriving. So one of the greatest joys in my life is using Ho'oponopono to reduce and eliminate memories so I can be available to receive inspiration. Inspiration comes from the divine or the great something or the universe or God, whatever you want to call it. The great something can bring you inspiration that is bigger and bolder and badder in a cool, juicy way than anything memory could come up with. When people sit down to write or draw or create, they're very often going to be pulling from memory rather than allowing inspiration to come through. So very often what they write or draw or create is something that's already been done before. It's some sort of rewrite because it's a memory. But if you can release the memory, so you're coming from what we would call zero. That's what Dr. Hew Len and I started calling it. It was zero. When you can come from zero, where there aren't any memories, now the divine can inspire you with something that maybe has never been done before by anybody, including
beautiful. You. Yeah, awesome. That's so cool. And then that brings us to your unique program, right? You have a unique Ho'oponopono healing program that you're launching that no one else in the world is doing.
Well, you're right. I taught the advanced Ho'oponopono program last March, and I had a bunch of teachers come in, and you were one of them. You really shown, you revealed a lot of what you're doing to help people personally and have these great case studies of people doing your work and your methods and your strategies and your coaching and applying Ho'oponopono and getting breakthroughs. I and Guitar Monk Matthew Dixon and you and I think 7 other teachers came to explain how Ho'oponopono could be used with different modalities, including essential oils or doing Reiki or any of these different things. And then at the end of that big training, which was so wonderful, it's just a loving, moving experience, I taught people how to be Ho'oponopono mentors, healers and mentors. And those people have been certified as Ho'oponopono healers and mentors because throughout all of this time that I've been writing and teaching and doing Ho'oponopono, people will write to me. And they'll write to Dr. Hew Len, and they'll say, will you please do Ho'oponopono on me or for me? Now, when you really understand Ho'oponopono, it's an inside job. You really just do it on yourself. But there are people who get in those corners of life, and we've all been there, where you just feel like, I need help, I need support, I need somebody else, I want an ally, I need somebody on my side. So I've set up a website, which I'm not going to remember where it is, Ho'oponopono Mentors, maybe, Ho'oponoponomentors.com, where people can go and they can select one of the people who are trained as certified Ho'oponopono healers and mentors to do Ho'oponopono for them.
Awesome.
Does that describe it? Well.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. Beautiful. Awesome. I'm so excited. I'm excited to be a part of that program. Very cool. I love the uniqueness of it, too.
Ho'oponoponomentoring.com.
Ho'oponoponomentoring.com
will take people to where those mentors are.
Awesome. So now I know today, Joe, too, that you wanted to focus on miracles. So talk to us today about how is Ho'oponopono connected to miracles in your life?
Well, I think Ho'oponopono is that clearing device that puts us back into the moment. And the moment is the only thing that counts. The past is gone, the future isn't here yet. But most of us either live in the past or we live in the future, and we're not really in the moment. So my work, my message, I even wrote, my most recent book is called The Miracle, 6 Steps to Enlightenment. And I tell people, this is the miracle. This moment is the miracle. All the other ones are gone, and the future ones aren't here yet. This is all you got. This is the miracle. And Ho'oponopono helps eliminate the memories, the beliefs, the expectations, the doubts, the fears, the concerns, and all of that pulls people out of the miracle of the moment and sends them into the past or into the future. Ho'oponopono helps delete those thoughts and doubts so people can be in the miracle of now. And they want to be in the miracle of now because in this moment is where your point of power is. You can create your future out of this moment. You can change your past out of this moment. This moment is so perfect that when we tune into it with gratitude, with clarity, with sincerity, we can be moved to tears that we're already there. I do know the feeling of wanting something else and longing for more. And I think that's fine. This moment will morph into what you want in future moments. But the best way to make that happen is to be in this moment, knowing it's a miracle, appreciating the miracle of now, and out of this now, you create the future moments that you would welcome as well. So Ho'oponopono is this miracle cleansing tool to get us out of the past and out of the future and into the moment. Simply by doing, I love you, I'm sorry, please forgive me, thank you.
So easy, so powerful. Amazing results.
Yeah.
So I know, Joe, you're a very generous man, and I know you often give a lot of free gifts out. And today for our audience, you have a gift about miracles. So I know you have a new program called The Beginner's Guide to Miracles, 6 Steps to Enlightenment. And our listeners today can get a hold of that program. I think it's an actual video program, right?
Yeah, it's a 6-part video series that people can watch right where they're sitting online. I can watch it on their phone or iPad or computer. And, of course, as I mentioned, I wrote a book called The Miracle. It's on Amazon. It's been a bestseller, and it's possibly my best work to date because everything's in it, from Ho'oponopono to positive songs to clearing techniques, and I talk about miracles and your brain and how to set up goals. But I know not everybody reads books, and I thought, well, what's another way that I can help? And so I created this 6-part video online course, a tutorial, called The Beginner's Guide to Miracles. And it's at beginnersguidetomiracles.com. www.beginnersguidetomiracles.com. They'll see an intro video from me, and they can sign up to receive the 6 videos. I think it's one every day or one every other day. Each video is only 10 or 15 minutes long because I know everybody's busy, and it's me talking right to them because I was looking at the camera when I filmed it, so they'll be seeing me look at them when they watch it. And I take the essential principles that I think are the next step principles for people, and I narrate them, I explain them, and I give people a simple to-do so they have something to do right after they watch it to help anchor it and to help integrate it into their lives, and it becomes part of their new life. And I think The Beginner's Guide to Miracles is this wonderful little 6-step tutorial that helps people go to the next level. It expands their mind. I really think we're here to awaken. And so this is a tool to help awaken. And again, I'm giving it away. I figure I'm going to do my best to help. I can't go watch it for people, but I'll make it available for nothing.
We would if we could, but we can't, right? Well, thank you, Joe, and I'm sure it's going to be just as powerful as so many of your other programs. I'm a big fan of your work, and I thank you for offering our listeners that gift. Be sure to go to www.beginnersguidetomiracles.com and download that free gift from Joe. We're going to take another quick commercial, but when we come back, I'm going to be asking Dr. Joe to share with us what is his favorite all-time miracle in his own life. So be sure to come back and join us for the closing of our show in a couple of minutes from now.
Dr. MaryOz's Radical Change Coaching Program will help you set a healing foundation in your life and teach you how to manifest more of what you want. Are you ready to get the results and radical change you have been longing for too long? Very often our clients tell us that this is the most powerful coaching they have ever received. Come join us and start living life with more results, more love, more wealth, health, and peace, as well as inspiration. For more information, call Coach Sam at 1-833-447-CHANGE. Need help deciding if our Radical Change coaching program is right for you? Apply for a free strategy session with one of our coaches. Be prepared to dive deep and identify the areas in life in which you need healing and transformation. Together, we will clarify how to close the gap from where you are to where you want to be and discover what's possible now. How would it feel to get big changes in less than 30 days for you, your loved ones, and your business? Apply now by calling Coach Sam at 1-833-447-CHANGE or visit us at radicalchangenow.com.
Have you had a chance to check out Voice America's online magazine and blog, Press Pass? If you love our hosts and shows, check out articles that give an even deeper perspective. Plus topics about health and fitness, movie reviews, philosophy, business tips and tactics, spirituality, positive thought, current events, and even more about your favorite host. It's just a click away at vapresspass.com. That's vapresspass.com. VA Press Pass by Voice America. All access, all the time.
Now you don't have to stay linked to your desktop or laptop. Take Voice America on the go and listen anywhere. Get our mobile app for iPhone, BlackBerry, or Android at the Apple iTunes App Store, BlackBerry App World, or Android Market.
You are listening to Radical Change Now with Dr. MaryOz. If you'd like to participate in our discussion today, the phone lines are open. Reach us at 1-888-346-9141. That's 1-888-346-9141. Let's get back to Radical Change Now. Here again is Dr. MaryOz.
Well, welcome back to our show, and we're here with Dr. Joe Vitale. And I'm about to ask him a question that I have wanted to ask him for a very long time. I think of Dr. Joe Vitale not only as the one and only Joe Vitale, but also as a miracles expert. So, Joe, can you share with us what's your favorite all-time miracle in your own life?
Wow, that's a huge question. It's a beautiful question. You know, I look over my life and I've got so many wonderful milestones. I'm so fortunate. I mean, I was homeless at one point. I went through poverty for 10 years and then slowly started having these great successes, whether it was the first book published or a play produced or the Internet comes along. I get audio programs produced with companies I had bought from and studied, and, of course, end up in the movie The Secret and end up meeting this wonderful, crazy teacher, Dr. Hew Len, and move into music, become a singer-songwriter, and recently did my first live performance. And I've seen so much. I've traveled so much. I've had so many. I'm so happy and so grateful. But I think when it comes to the miracle, the one that I'm in awe of and still grateful for, and I do write about this one in the book At Zero, the book I wrote after Zero Limits 10 years later, At Zero. So you'll know this story when I started. But several years ago, at this point it was probably 6 years ago, my mother was put into the hospital and dying. She was put into the intensive care where they have people just sitting there watching the people that are And they called the entire family to fly in, and I was going somewhere else, so I had to cancel plans, turn around, go to Ohio, which is where my family is and where I'm from, and go there. And I remember being in that hospital intensive care room, and there were 3 other patients in the vicinity, and those 3 other patients all died while I was there. This is how intense this place is. So 3 other people have died while I am there, and my mother is there, and for all intents and purposes dying. And we're all shocked, we're all traumatized, we're all confused, we don't know what to do. Part of me is even angry. I'm angry at God, I'm angry at my mother, I'm thinking things should be different, angry at myself because I'm not solving this. And here I've helped so many people, but my mother's on her deathbed. And then I remembered the only thing I know to do is I'm not a medical doctor. I'm not a nurse. I'm not a physical therapist. I can't do anything to help her in that hospital outside of work on me. And then in Ho'oponopono, as we've talked about, they said the extreme responsibility, the mindset is extreme ownership. I got to own what's going on, what I'm perceiving. And so I had to turn everything within me and feel my grief, feel my anger, feel my confusion, feel my potential loss of my mother and my family all around me going through their own states of darkness. And I'm feeling all this, and I sat down and I just turned on Ho'oponopono. I just spoke to my connection to what I've ended up calling the great something. And I'm saying, I love you, I'm sorry, please forgive me, thank you. And I'm even saying, I have no idea what beliefs have created this situation, but please forgive me, forgive my ancestors, forgive anybody involved. I'm sorry that I've inherited these beliefs, and wherever I got them, please forgive me, please forgive them. Thank you for healing me. Thank you for healing my mindset and my perceptions. I love you for my life. I love you for my mother. I love you for everything that's been going on that's healing, that is clearing, that can take this to another level. And I don't know how long I did that, but I did it until they told us we had to leave. And at that point, I confess I was not 100% at peace, but I was 95% at peace. I was far more relaxed. I was far more in a trust flow and a field of faith. And so I left. And the punchline is my mother got better, my mother came home, and my mother lived for another 5 years.
Wow, that's amazing. What a gift. Like you said earlier in the show, Ho'oponopono is such a gift that we can give to ourselves, but ends up affecting other people. Like a mom who's in, such a precarious situation.
Exactly. And I've heard so many stories. People have relationship problems. There was a sister who hadn't talked to her sister in years, but she started doing Ho'oponopono inside of herself as she would think of her sister. And then her sister would call, and then they would meet, and then they were like in love again. And it doesn't take both parties when you think it's another person involved and you think, they have to do Ho'oponopono too. No, only you have to do it.
Right.
Because you're the only person that really exists from the Ho'oponopono standpoint. Everything else is a mirror of what's in you. So even in relationships, the only person that has to do it is you. But by doing it,
I think what a powerful tool we have at our fingertips, or we should say at our lips, right? When we say, I love you, I thank you, please forgive me, I'm sorry. What a powerful tool we have to help our own family members. Like when we're worried about them, or we think they're heading in the wrong direction, or they lose their job, just by our Ho'oponoponoing, our cleaning, clearing, and erasing on our thoughts, feelings, and patterns affects them positively. I know that every time I give a group of people, when I teach a coaching program, the 30-day challenge, I do the 30-day Ho'oponopono challenge myself, where you say, I love you, I thank you, please forgive me, I'm sorry, for 30 full days. And whenever I do that, my children's lives go on fire. They come home and they have these amazing stories. And it's not like I'm Ho'oponoponoing for them, but I believe that when we Ho'oponopono, whoever the people are that are closest to our hearts gets the healing effect of our cleaning and clearing.
Absolutely correct.
Yeah, very cool. So, Joe, Do you believe that Ho'oponopono could actually help heal our world?
Yes, and the most obvious reason why is that you are the world. I am the world. If I am doing Ho'oponopono within me, I am healing everything I see, which is the world. Let me put it this way. Dr. Hew Len once said that when you clear a belief inside of yourself, you clean it out of the universe. Meaning that a lot of beliefs we have that aren't good for us, beliefs about negativity or beliefs about scarcity in the world or struggle and unhappiness, they're shared beliefs. They're almost in a collective unconscious, to use Carl Jung's term. So it's almost like they're in a collective unconscious. And when you start working on any of those beliefs within yourself, Dr. Hew Len said you're erasing them from that collective unconscious. So by helping yourself, you're helping the world. By cleaning yourself, you're cleaning the world. By healing yourself, you're healing the world. But it all begins inside. Don't have to go anywhere. Just sit where you're sitting.
So powerful, so easy. We always say even a 6-year-old could do it, right? We can even teach a 6-year-old child how to Ho'oponopono. And yet I've had clients that have taught children even younger than that how to Ho'oponopono.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I love it.
So what would you say your vision for Ho'oponopono is?
Well, I would love the world to be aware of it so they can consider it as a prayer or a meditation or a song, as a tool that they can use or at least try. In my efforts to do that, I've written, of course, 2 books and put on several seminars, but I'm also working with a friend, a mutual friend that you and I both know, to see if we can turn this into a movie, because I think a movie on Zero Limits, telling that original story of Dr. Hew Len in the mental hospital and him being the weirdo there who does unusual things, but everybody gets healed, I think that would be something that would get the world to sit up on its hind legs and go, what did he do? How did he do that? And by extension, that would teach everybody something they can at least try. And Ho'oponopono can become a stress reduction technique or a meditation technique or a time to turn within technique or a healing or clearing technique, and it could be available to the planet.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, I often have this vision too, and I feel like it came from inspiration, where I would really love to be, part of a group of people that bring Ho'oponopono to the world, very much the way Rhonda Burns brought the law of attraction to the world, right? Like not many people knew about law of attraction. And then The Secret came out, which you were a star in, of course. And then next thing you know, I think it was on the Oprah show, and it just spread like so rapidly internationally around the world.
Well, if anybody can do it, it's Dr. Mary.
Well, let's you and I team up and continue to get this message out there like we did today. So, Dr. Joe, let me thank you for being on.
You are right. The law of attraction was in book form since the 1800s. But again, not everybody reads books, and they certainly don't always read books that are out of print and from early 1900s and so forth. So when Rhonda takes something that's already been written about and turns it into a fairly simple movie, and shatters all sales records and makes history by getting this self-help book out there. Larry King did at least 2 episodes on it, because I was on 2 of them. And, of course, Oprah did 3 episodes on it.
Wow.
And that movie, which came out in 2006, is still traveling around the world. People are still talking about it. I still get recognized at airports and on planes as the guy who's in The Secret. I mean,
it's amazing. Totally. Dr. Joe, I do have to interrupt you because we have to end on time for our next show to begin. But I want to make sure that I can let our audience know about that free gift that you have for them.
Sure.
So, first of all, thank you for being here. Thank you for sharing so openly and honestly and in depth with us. It's a true gift for me that you said yes to our interview today. So I thank you for that. And just to remind everybody, you can get Dr. Joe's free gift on miracles at www.becominghealed.com. beginnersguide-to-miracles.com. And if you're ready to take the 30-day Ho'oponopono challenge, you can get a free ebook at radicalchangenow.com, where we also offer a free Ho'oponopono strategy session. And be sure to come back, and next week we'll be diving even deeper with Ho'oponopono and how it can help you clean and clear on your money and love obstacles that are blocking you from having more of what you want. Come join myself and my guest Suzanne as she shares how Ho'oponopono has affected her, her children, her family, and her business income as well. And of course, you'll want to tune in and find out what was Suzanne's positive, unexpected twist. Happy Ho'oponoing. Have a great week. And I'll see you guys next week.
Thank you for tuning in this week for Radical Change Now. Be sure to join Dr. MaryOz again next Wednesday at 10 a.m. Pacific Time and 1 p.m. Eastern Time on the Voice America Empowerment Channel. Until then, have the best week of your life.